Welcome back to Artificial Antics, where Rico and Mike will talk about the implications and opportunities around artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. In today's episode, titled Crank It to 11, Generating Audio with AI, Mike and Rico will talk about text-to-speech and experiment with audio tools, including ElevenLabs.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Artificial Antics. I'm here with my co-host, Mike, and as always, we're here to bring the AI tools, the evolvement of AI to you.
Yeah, Rico, this is pretty crazy. I think we've been really progressing, and Rico and I have been talking about just how much we've been doing right now, and like going back to like episode 1 or like the first AI bit and AI bite I did. I'm like, whoa, like that's crazy. But that was like May, right? So it's just a few months ago, you know, when you look back at it. And, you know, we've got, better mics now. We've got, they got
better
the
setup,
green screen. So we're able to do stuff where we're able to cut out the background and put it in after. And, you know, this is really all of this is just to make better quality content for you folks, right? So the base of the content here is, you know, us talking about AI really for the every person. You know, we want to make sure that we're not, you know, speaking above anyone, right? And that we're showing people the power of AI without confusing them, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, I can't tell you how many times I'm trying to get some social media engagement this week that I keep putting the same message out there. And this is what our podcast focuses around. It's bringing AI tools, automation, and business solutions and personal solutions to people, whether or not they're using it in their professional or personal lives. So, you know, it's our pleasure to do that for everyone. We enjoy doing it on our free time, or, you know, as well as doing it here on the podcast. So it's great. So let's jump right into the news, Mike, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds great to me, Rico. Why don't you go ahead and take it away with the couple of articles that you have?
Sure. So the first and foremost one that I want to cover, I think it was covered by Forbes. It had to do with a grocery chain that was using generative AI like ChatGPT. And I think it was like a base model ChatGPT they were using. And it was helping customers use different recipes. And I think they're called Savvy or something like that. I'm not familiar with the company anyway, but it's in New Zealand. And what they found was that, let me read the top of the article, because this is what bugged me. And I think it's what I explained to you that bugged me, was supermarket AI gives horrifying recipes for poison sandwiches and deadly chlorine gas. And we all understand how the media, you know, needs to sell and hook people and all that type of thing. But here's the reality. That headline right there, you know, couldn't be more misleading, because yes, it did that, but it really had to do with the inputs that people are putting in. And as Mike has stated before on the podcast several times, it's garbage in, garbage out. So if you take ChatGPT, you enter some garbage into the prompt, you're going to get garbage on the other end. That's what it's going to spit out for a product. So in this case, the user, I think it was an employee of the grocery chain, they actually entered in like chlorine, bleach, you know, that's what they entered for the ingredients, and then asked it to create a recipe based upon what they gave it. And of course it came out with, you know, a poisonous, deadly chlorine gas water mixture, I think is what it was. So again, we've talked about the controls that need to be in place for this type of thing, and some of the technology already has it, but of course they're gonna, you know, programmers can't keep up with everybody. You know, we look at all of the products we use, you know, physical products we use like shampoo and other things. There's always warnings on those bottles because there's always somebody that's going to misuse it. So this was just another clear example of how some of the you know, guardrails need to be in place, policies need to be in place to protect the end user. But kind of a misleading article. You know, ChatGPT did not just automatically say, okay, you know, this isn't AI with the Skynet going to delete humans by convincing them to make their own chlorine gas to get rid of themselves. So again, that was Forbes.com that covered that. And that's my first story anyway. I wasn't very pleased with the article, but I thought it was important to get it out there that it's a scare tactic, you know, for AI. That's what I think it is.
Well, I will say too, though, you know, thinking about it, and I agree with you 100%, right? Garbage in, garbage out. Like you can guide it to do things that are things that are less than ideal, right? Obviously. in the same breath, what you made me think of there is that you still have to fact check it anyway, right? Like, even if you put in something that you don't think is garbage, especially if it gives you specifics and whatnot, like, just use your mind, right? Like
right. Critical thinking
is
skills.
super huge here, right?
Right.
Because, I think to myself, well, gosh, with chemicals and stuff like that, like, there's some dangerous side effects that the ChatGPT probably would know, but like, if it did this, it might do other things. You know what I mean? So this to me is like, yes, garbage in, garbage out. And yes, I think it's a misleading article 100%. In the same breath, it's another reminder to me that, like, whoa, all right.
Critical thinking.
Yeah. Like big time here. And you know what? It's funny, Rico. We were talking off screen about, if you get a feeling like in your gut or whatever, and you think something's a little off, and like always check it, right? And you said the like check, recheck thing, right? Like,
the military is a check, recheck hula. That's what the army says.
Yeah. So I mean, the reality is, like, through my day-to-day life, there are these little things where I'm like, is that right? Well, I've realized over the years that I need to like listen to those little instincts in my life. And this is a prime example of an area of life where you absolutely need to make sure that you're using your, gut here. So.
Right. Yeah. It's like results unclear, so
right.
Or instructions unclear, results may vary. Right. Just to kind of put a cap on this. So they've already fixed the issue. They don't allow users now to just enter any in a bunch of ingredients. So that, this won't happen again. So they've already corrected the issue. We can move on from there, but anyway, that was one that kind of ticked me off, just because there's so much that people don't know about AI already. Using scare tactics like this, I know that they want to get users to read that. Yes, it's a concern, but I'm sorry, if you told it, okay, use this stuff, it's going to use that stuff. You gave it the input. So
right.
Anyway, moving on to the next story. So I really like this one. I actually bumped this track like last week when I found out about this article. I found out about the track that I've been bumping, but they actually have a new one. So there's actually an artist that's come out. Well, I'm going to call them an artist because they absolutely are a very talented individual that's using some of the generative AI and voice cloning that we've talked about, and that we're actually going to sample tonight on the show using ElevenLabs. They took Drake, 21 Savage, Travis Scott. These are artists that most people may be familiar with, the kind of newer artists, or they've been around a bit. And they cloned their voices and then wrote their own song and then took it and put it to the track itself. And I'm actually going to share my screen so that, the audience can hear this just briefly, because it's very, very good. But it really underscores some of the issues with copywriting and, infringement that we keep talking about. And Mike and I have already talked before about how it takes time for laws to catch up, right? Anytime there's new technology, or there's, some kind of change in society, it takes time for laws to catch up. And that's where we're at. I know there was a landmark case, I think it was a week or two ago, in reference to AI generated movies and that type of thing. And Hollywood really wanted that to be able to be copywritten so that it would prevent people from using it. So again, the big guy, and I don't want to throw out company names, but I would guess it would be somebody like Pixar, that they have a ton of money, right? So they could actually use these technologies, and if they got the laws to go their way, little folks who would create things, some other artists wouldn't have the ability to create those, because they would have kind of a lockdown on that technology.
Right.
So anyway, with this one, there are some copyright questions they have. They're going to be addressed. The user is Ghostwriter. He has a YouTube page. I'm going to show you it here in a moment. And what he did was he cloned their voices, he created the track, and then he mixed the sound and came out with this. One of the songs, I want to say it's Hard on My Sleeve, is one he did with Drake and The Weeknd. And what's interesting with it is AI cloned voices, and it's actually been nominated for a Grammy.
Wow.
Yes. And it's funny because the article touches upon why it would still qualify for a Grammy, because it was human created ultimately, because he wrote the song.
Right.
And in his most recent track that he released, which is I think it's called Whiplash, is the name of the second song. In Whiplash, he actually put a message out to both Travis Scott and whoever the other artist, 21 Savage, in that one, and said, if you want to allow this to be released, I'll actually funnel the royalties to you. So it's somebody that's really showing what AI is capable of, as well as, letting their creative, muse, their self out, and creating something, but they're also offering like, hey, here's a fix for it so the world can enjoy it. And these are going viral on Spotify, Apple Music. I did download the first track, which is Hard on My Sleeve, from Apple Music. So let me share my screen real quick and the audience can give a listen to that. But
cool. That sounds great. Yeah, that's great.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Well, that was making me think really quick to the AI generated art that won. I forgot what specific award it was, but it was like that. It was going to win the Sony something whatever award for art, and it was AI generated, right? And the guy said at the end, like, okay, no, I'm not. Let's not do this. But he, was like to prove a point that like AI generated art, like it
has a place.
Very similar. It can look very similar to like the art that we have always known and loved, and even pushing the boundaries of that, right? Like, because you're able to create things a lot faster, and you're able to create like the ideas that you get in your head that like for years it just, oh man, I got this idea.
If I only could do this,
if only I could do this and this, right? And rather than it taking 3 months to get to where you need to be to do that thing, if you were put everything into it, it's a 3-minute thing maybe, or a 30-minute thing, or a 3-hour, but it doesn't take 3 months, right?
Or like we've talked about, it builds out your idea. I've talked about with writer's block and that type of thing, or just to be curious how a prompt that I've come up with, but I haven't had time to sit down and write it all out, what would come up, and it gives you more ideas. And again, you can create characters and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's awesome what's happening with it. So
absolutely.
Here's the first track. This is the Heart on My Sleeve track. Again, this is Drake and The Weeknd AI. So
cool.
Came in with my ex like Selena, the flex, bumping Justin Bieber, the fever and left, she know what she need, or she blessed, giving me my best, I got my heart on my sleeve with a knife, my back, what's with that, 21, I love him, then my brother, that's my stack, Metro made the beat, so you know that it's gon' slap, it's gon' slap, time, run it back. Talking to a diva, yeah, she on my nerves. She think that I need her, kick her to the curb. All I know is you couldn't.
So there you can hear both artists in that. I just let it go a little bit further so you could hear, The Weeknd come in there as well for Drake at the beginning.
Hey, go back to Drake. Seriously, man, I've listened to a lot of Drake in my life, and I got to hear that one more time. A little bit, just a little bit.
Man with my ex like Selena, the flex, bumping Justin Bieber, the fever and left,
all right.
She know what she need,
yeah, no worries. So personally, yes, that sounds close to Drake. That does not sound exactly like Drake to me. It's really noticeable. Like actually, if you played that for me and I didn't know who it was, sort of like the blind taste test thing, I would not say that was Drake. I think it sounds great. Oh yeah, I think it sounds great. But I didn't exactly get that. So
and that could be the sound quality of the upload. It could be any number of things that cause that. But yeah, I agree with you. It's slightly off from regular Drake, and I don't know if that's because of how it was synthesized or created or edited on the backside. Who knows?
Sure. And as you're creating these AI generated audio clips. And we'll see this later in the episode here as we start to build some stuff out in ElevenLabs. There are tweaks, and like you can there's sliders to say like, hey, make this sound more similar to the original clip or less similar, and the stability and whatnot. So I could definitely and there's a sweet spot, right? There's probably a few sweet spots as you're creating that stuff. I'd say The Weeknd sounded a little more like The Weeknd to me, but like still it was a little off, but like. So yeah, no, and it's probably slightly subjective too, right? But I have listened to a ton of Drake And that's why I was just like, okay, this is great. It just, it didn't feel like it was exactly right to me in
Right.
my mind.
Yep. Right. So next, this is Whiplash. This is a Travis Scott and 21 Savage AI generated song, again by Ghostwriter. He has a YouTube channel, as you can see here.
Can't kill it. Can't kill it now.
They waiting outside. They flooding the gates, I'm flooding the wrist. Like, no, I ain't got it. Stormy and Scott. They Houston like when he got my brothers with me. We lighting the city on fire. Protect my Achilles, cause they trying to kill me, but I never been so alive. Yeah. Whiplash. We get
Pause that for a second. That sounds exactly like Travis Scott to me. That's like pretty crazy, actually. All right, you can keep going.
Yeah. So I'll play a couple more seconds of this for the audience. And then we'll
or
move
like
on.
play it down the line or a little bit, like where you get to 21 Savage. I'm not familiar with them as an artist, but
yeah, I honestly, I don't listen to Travis Scott or 21 Savage. I'm
Okay.
sure I've heard things by them, but I'm not experts in them. Like
I'm not an
like you with
expert either,
Drake,
but
you know,
like
I've
I
listened
do
to a
know
lot more Drake.
Yeah, I do know some of the Travis Scott songs, and it to me it sounds like him. So yeah,
Sure.
We get so loud. We blast. All night. We dead. We gay. We blast. All night. All night.
So again, that was Whiplash by Ghostwriter. That's kind of what's happening right now with generative art, and that's all the buzz is whether or not you can clone an artist. And again, there's implications there. Like he stated, it's allowing it will allow artists now to create things using their own voice, because a lot of their contracts are written their likeness and that type of thing. So I'm sure their contracts will change over time, but how great would it be? Well, we say great. They could pump out a ton of content, right? Just by simply writing the words down and letting their cloned voice read those things, sing those things. Whether or not it hits the mark, I guess we'll see. But very, very cool things happening from Ghostwriter. So check out his YouTube page, listen to some of the tracks, and tell us what you think about it. I personally, I liked it. I downloaded it on my phone, that first track, The Heart on My Sleeve. It's a bumper. It's a banger.
Yeah,
So-
no, and one quick thing about that, the whole like better or all that, an improvement over where we are now or where we were 10 years ago. One quick note on that is, I think to myself, there's a bit of a time goes by and then somebody releases something and you get more excited about it, right?
Right.
Whereas if you just released Lord of the Rings, like all of them at once, right? It would not have been the same as, me
Building.
going to the theater and watching each
Right.
one and then having to wait like a year for the next one. And
Right.
there's just some build up there. And
Yeah,
so
like the Phantom
think of-
Menace.
yeah,
Ro-
like building all of, like just releasing, rapid fire style, right? Like a ton of
Right.
music. It's sort
Saturating
of
the
like,
market.
it's saturation, right?
Right.
And so it's
Yep.
like, can we consume all that? It's like AI movies. I think the same thing, right? Like I'm like,
Right.
hell, Netflix and all these, they're doing all the originals and stuff. Honestly, there's tons of great content, but it's like, I feel like I consume, like, it's way smaller than this, right? Like
Right.
in the grand scheme of things. So it's sort of like you can't keep up, and it's sort of fragments. I mean, obviously it's nice that people get to see things, but a lot of times I'll actually watch something that I've known about for a long time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? And other
Right.
people have talked about it, but it's like I can't converse with people about that thing until I watch it, right? And and there's so much to watch, and everybody's watching different things, so it's sort of like I don't know, it like splits or fragments the media that people are consuming, right? Which
Right.
so that's just an interesting thought.
Oh yeah, and I think we will see some market saturation initially, like we're seeing with some of the other AI outputs. You can go on social media now and pretty much pick out which posts are ChatGPT generated, because people aren't curating them properly, or
Right.
adding their own flair to it. So we'll see. Cream will rise to the top with this, like anything else, and maybe there'll be a whole other Grammy category or something for AI generated, best AI song or best AI movie of the year or something like that. With the other award shows,
Yeah.
I'm not overly familiar with. I'm not a big celeb chaser or a Hollywood fan, anything like that. But anyway,
Oh man,
that's
I couldn't tell. I thought you were just like there watching the Emmys, Grammys, and all those other things that they have.
no. I'm relatively grounded in the real world. We've talked about The Office quite a bit.
The Real World, yeah, that's a great show. The Office, that one's good one, too.
not to show the real world. Jeepers, yeah.
Cool. So I've got a couple of news stories as well. The first one is kind of more recent. There are a couple of developments in, let's call it, the enterprise world with AI and ChatGPT, as well as Claude, which is another conversational AI tool from a company called Anthropic. So the first piece of news, and I think we posted something on this about a week ago, I wanted to just touch on it here, is that OpenAI has released a ChatGPT enterprise version. So this is one of the things where I work, right? I'm putting together our AI strategy. One of the challenges has been getting people who need ChatGPT Plus accounts, and not being able to manage that at an organizational level, right? So we're putting company payment methods in, and we've tried to regulate that to the point where people are all using their work email address and stuff like that. So there's been some standardization. But man, it's been tough when somebody has their own account already and this and that, so it's been a pain in the butt. With the organization and our ChatGPT Enterprise, all of that is solved for you, right? So you've got some features that you would expect from an enterprise grade thing. Like let's say you were signing up for Microsoft Office 365. It's a lot of these same features, right? You've got an admin console with bulk member management. Huge, right? As you're onboarding people, you're offboarding people, you don't want to realize 3 months later that you're paying for a ChatGPT account that somebody's not using, right? Or is using, but they don't work for the company anymore, right? Single sign-on, that's a big one. Being able to sign in with your Microsoft account,
feature.
your Google account. Yeah, I use it whenever I can, right? Domain verification. So this is like verifying that it's actually your company's domain that's signing up for that enterprise account. Analytics dashboard and usage insights. So where this gets really powerful is being able to see at an organizational level, like what features your people are using and who's using the product and who isn't using the product. So for instance, you might find that like a whole team just isn't using the product. Well, there may be an opportunity there for training, right? And really introducing them or reintroducing them to the product. You get unlimited access to GPT-4. There's no usage cap, so that's kind of helpful. Although I have only hit the ChatGPT 4 usage cap, I think twice in like the 2 or 3 months that I've had a pro account, right? So higher speed performance for ChatGPT 4. I'll tell you what, it is definitely a lot slower than ChatGPT 3.5, even though you get more sophistication. There's a speed thing. So it looks like it's up to 2 times faster, which is great. You get unlimited access to the advanced data analysis. So this was formerly known as Code Interpreter, but really they realized that, it was originally, upload your code and we'll analyze it. But people just realized you could upload any file, like a PDF, and they were using it to chat with their PDFs, right? For instance, or chat with other files or Excel or whatever, right? So that's just going to be built in. You'll have unlimited access to that. They're going to have a 32,000 character token context window. So we've talked about this a few different times. The token context is really how much memory is built into ChatGPT. So once you get into these like longer conversations, or let's say you have to try to analyze like a book or a really large blog, it will sometimes not be able to do that if it falls outside of its context window. So for instance, ChatGPT has an 8,192 token context window. And that's pretty okay. But like you get even a really long blog post, and it's gonna actually not be able to process that, right? Or if you have a conversation and it lasts for like, you go back and forth, right? Generate me this and do that. You start getting these longer context windows. It won't even tell you. It'll just stop remembering the beginning of the conversation, right? Which is problematic, right? Because you can end up with answers that are inconsistent with the total picture of what's going on. Now, segueing into the second part of the same kind of what I'm going to call the same news segment would be Claude, which is another conversational AI by Anthropic. They have 100,000 token context out of the gate, which does allow you to talk to or converse with big PDFs, right? It allows you to generate bigger bodies of text without forgetting some of the initial context of the conversation, right? I will say that Claude is great. I don't think it's quite as sophisticated, and it doesn't meet the mark in my mind as much as ChatGPT. So I'm going to continue to use ChatGPT. I'm excited about both technologies, though. I will say that Claude, like my dad, is using the heck out of Claude because it's free. It's easy to get up and running. And out of the gate, I think the free version of Claude provides a little bit more than the free version of ChatGPT. So that's one thing that I wanted to touch on. The second thing is really kind of a segue into our episode here, which is that ElevenLabs recently released a multi-language pack where you can translate your rather than just having English, right, which is what we had before. You've got 28 different languages that ElevenLabs can translate to automatically. So they're probably all the ones you would expect, and probably not some of the more I don't know, less common languages, right? But we can kind of go into that in a second here, and we'll start going into the episode, and we'll take a look at the at both that as well as the features of ElevenLabs that we're gonna touch on, which they've got speech synthesis, they've got a voice lab, and they've got you're able to clone your own voice, which is a pretty cool feature. Rico, you were talking about that earlier on the episode with the news segments, and they've got a pretty extensive voice library too, right? You can search by accent, you can search by gender, you could even search like the different types of things that you might use it for, right? Like narrative and story, conversational, characters and animation, social media. So this is a really, there are a few different text to speech software systems out there. So ElevenLabs is probably the highest quality that I found. Even Descript, like we love Descript, we use it for our episodes, and it's got some stock voices, but they still sound like AI at the end of the day a bit, right? Whereas the ElevenLabs voices, you'll see this later, like some of them are indistinguishable in my mind from actual voices of people talking. So I think we'll jump right in here, Rico, unless did you have anything to say about the about ChatGPT Enterprise and Claude Pro? Because I feel like you had some thoughts on this too.
Yeah, so we kind of knew that Enterprise, we would see things like that coming forward because obviously, like you said, it's a logistical nightmare to imagine trying to have all these users, $20 a month for each one. But a lot of the things you're talking about with being included in the Enterprise, if you're a regular home user for ChatGPT 4, especially, it's $20 a month. I just did an AI bite on this. We'll be releasing, and of course, we'll put everything in the show notes as usual. But there are these add-ins or plugins rather that you can enable. You can download free. Most of them are free, or they have a paid service attached to them. But the majority that I've encountered so far is about 90 total pages of add-ons. You can chat with a PDF. You can create documents. You can create PDFs, Excel spreadsheets. You get to do any number of things, as well as accessing new information that it actually scrapes from the internet in real time. Like I think one's called Scholar AI. There's like a web one that you can access real data in real time from the internet now. So it's really awesome that they're incorporating that into the enterprise portion, because those have those skill sets and those abilities that people are going to need in business. So if you can create a whole PDF just simply from a text prompt, and we've done this, a few times over the past few weeks, it's amazing what comes out the other end. It absolutely is amazing. I created a contract, and I think there's a few other documents we created just simply by putting into the prompt. So very cool. We knew we'd see an enterprise version of it because they're going to monetize it. So now, Mike, with that, there has to be some kind of security thoughts in mind, right?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you mentioned this.
Yeah.
Honestly, we had talked about this a little bit, and Rico just mentioned something that I totally had forgotten to cover as part of this. Some of the privacy features and the security features of this are like completely stand out, right? So I guess at a baseline, they're SOC 2 compliant, which is pretty huge, right? I don't know what SOC stands for. All I know is SOC 2 compliancy is big, right? Like if you look at, enterprises looking to onboard a new vendor, a lot of them will require that vendor, right, to be SOC 2 certified. Matter of fact, we've got some vendors that we're looking at that are AI vendors, you transcription, sentiment analysis. One of our questions to them, funny enough, is, hey, are you SOC 2 compliant? Hey, are you training on our data, right? Because if the answer is yes, we cannot use you, right? Like we have customers that we value the privacy of our customers, and we're going to be unwavering with that, right? So we will never choose a vendor that would train on our data, that would even keep our data for a long period of time, right, on their system. Ideally you want that to be, hey, my thing is here, and then it's like gone when you don't need it anymore. And so all of these are baked into that enterprise. They've got data encryption at rest and in transit. So what this means is, as it's connecting, to different systems on the internet, right? That's transit. It's all encrypted, which means it's secure for the most part. And then at rest means like when they're storing it, and that's really important. A lot of companies, the data is encrypted in transit. Like that's sort of like baseline nowadays, right? And has been for many years. But the data encryption at rest is not. And so that was impressive to me. And so the other thing that I liked, and I mentioned it kind of earlier here, is that the customer prompts and company data are not used for training OpenAI models, right?
Great.
So these are the stuff you're typing in will not be used to train models, and that's been a big thing. It's part of the training that I have at my job, where we're making sure that people aren't putting in any kind of sensitive data, and you'll still want to do that, right? There's some guidelines, but the reality is I feel much safer as an IT director when I know that or at least they're giving me their word, right? Like take that with a grain of salt, but honestly, it'd be hard for them to say that and not back it up, because they're monitored, right? I mean, people are in there, like there's a lot of, let's call it, safeguards, right? So so I mean, those are some pretty interesting stories. And then, as a precursor to this episode, if you didn't catch them, we've got some other news stories that we released. So I think there was one on, a company called Our Ability, which was AI for, disabled folks, and really, lifting them up, which I thought was pretty cool. And a lot going on in AI these days, Rico.
There sure is. I can't tell you enough. Each day, looking through the news articles and kind of seeing the evolution of it, it's happening so quickly. It is day to day, week to week, and that's the exciting part for us. And we hope that our listeners, keep joining us for the journey. And we're trying to bring it to you as fast as we possibly can. And ultimately, we would love to be a weekly podcast or even a daily podcast. But maybe in the future, who knows? But a lot of stuff happened with AI, Mike. You're absolutely right there.
Sure, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna get into the episode here. So we've got ElevenLabs, and
Yeah.
we're gonna be doing some really cool stuff with text to speech. We've played around with this a lot. Full disclosure, we actually recorded this episode or most of this episode already, and then we realized there were some big problems with the recording, so we're recording again. But you know what? Hey, it was a good practice run, folks. So that just
sure
makes
was.
this all the better, right? So we're gonna go through the speech synthesis, voice cloning. We're gonna
Yes.
also go through that internationalization, right? Where it's we're getting the translated voices and see how it fares. So I'll
Sure.
share my screen.
Yes.
Cool. So, folks, yeah, we're getting into the main episode here with ElevenLabs. We've got speech synthesis up on the screen here, and I'm actually going to move over to starting off with the voice library, right? So, ElevenLabs has a lot of. They have some like bass voices. Those are okay. I would say that the community voices, though, are much better, right? So, and one of the things that I've noticed here, and this is really recent, like this wasn't even here the last time that we recorded something on ElevenLabs, but they've got narrative and story, conversational, right? And you can see that I'm putting these in here, and let's say advertisement, right? These options for the voice library are changing each time I select something. Then to select the additional filters like category, right? So professional, voice design, gender, male, female, neutral, and then you've got age, you've got young, you've got middle aged, you've got old, and then accent. This is my dad was looking for something. He wanted a British voice to read some stoicism stuff, and
Right.
so I searched for British voice. And I was looking through here, and there's I'll take off narrative and story and advertisement, because I'll tell you what, I found my boy Brian here, and and this is just incredible, right? So I'll play a sample of this really quick.
We have committed the golden rule to memory.
Woo!
Let us now commit it to life.
Silky smooth. I
Yes,
love
sir.
Brian's voice. I love Brian's voice. Another one that I like here is Victoria. I think she was pretty good as well.
One may say the eternal mystery of the world is its comprehensibility.
Yes.
So that one's pretty cool. We've got raspy. Hell, Rico, weren't we just talking about
We were
raspy voice?
just
Let's
talking
test
about
this out.
raspy,
That's
yes.
hilarious. All right, so Hannah, let's test her out.
If one is lucky, a solitary fantasy can totally transform 1 million realities.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I'm not a fan of it, but yeah.
The truth of the matter is that you always know the right thing to do.
Well,
The
Emma.
hard part is doing.
Yeah, because when we tested these out, we got into the Keira Knightley thing, right? We want Keira Knightley's voice included up there because it's kind of close to that one.
Yeah. Let's actually look for that one here.
Oh, you're looking for the actual Knightley one? I think it's actually a male voice, isn't it? Right?
No, Knightley is different. I'm
Oh,
not
was it? Okay.
I'm
Okay.
looking for the one that you're talking about, right? Which was very similar to Keira Knightley.
I thought it was Emma. Is that supposed to be Emma Watson? Is that or
Dude,
something
I don't
similar?
I don't
We
even know. I don't even know. Like it does sound kind of like Emma Watson.
Right.
Let's do a
Is she the one from Harry Potter? Okay, like we definitely have nerd status here, but I might be lacking in the Harry Potter realm
right.
of things.
That's okay. That's okay.
I apologize to the viewers.
Yes,
I have nothing
definitely.
against Harry Potter. I just
So the other day I was talking to somebody, and I swear to God, this happened. Maybe you won't get this if you don't get the Harry Potter stuff. But but this guy was like, yeah, I'm like Dumbledore. You shall not pass. And I was like,
you're mixing. Yeah,
are
okay, I
you
get
kidding
it.
me, dude? Like, I'm like, oh no,
You're mixing realms, bro. You can't
this
do
really
that.
Happened. This really happened. So I was dying. I was fucking dying. So, oh my god. All right. Let's see.
Because
Yeah.
for those who don't know, that's Gandalf.
that is Gandalf for sure.
Gandalf the Grey, right? Or that's prior to the White.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
I think it
it was
is.
Gandalf,
I
yeah.
absolutely think it is. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I love our
So-
tangents. We could get off on
So
tangents.
is
People have
cheerfulness
no idea.
or a good temper. The more it is
That's
spent,
good.
the more remains.
I like Edwin.
We talked before too. These are in line with some of the video game narration we've seen in the past, like with Fable, the Fable series. That used
Oh
to,
yeah,
to play
right.
was
Right.
fantastic, and the voices that they remind me so much of that game.
So one of the things that you can do here too is you can add these to your voice lab, right? So you can you could label them, right? Like this is Edwin. I'll just leave it as is, but we could hit add voice.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then so what you could do here now is you can go over to your voice lab, right? So I have like Brian, I have like Victoria, right? Some of these ones that we Herbie Hancock. Look at that guy. So this is
Herbie.
It's Herbie. So this is one we made on our last recording. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So we've already got this in here. This is the script. Rico, you want to kind of explain what we're about to put in here?
Sure. So Mike and I are actually working on a project to develop some children's books that have a psychological component to it that teach kids proper lessons through story, because ultimately that's how most of us learn in life, especially early on. So one of the items that we've created is called Lily and the Kindness Kingdom, and what Mike has input here is actually an introduction to Lily and the Kindness Kingdom, and we're going to have it narrate for us a bit about the story, hopefully to not only generate interest but to show some of the things that you can do through generative art and generative AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, well, Herbie's okay, but let's actually start off with Brian, because Brian is Brian.
Top dog. He's top dog.
He is the top dog. And folks, you could do some different voice settings here. We'll play around with this in just a minute, but let's just start off with the basics, right? Like we'll just do 2 default, right? Which sets it to this, and I'll hit generate. The other thing to notice here is that it looks like this is limited to a 5,000 character set of text, right? So
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom
there we go.
lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers about the wonders of kindness.
I love this.
That's so good. That is so good.
Just like it just puts my soul at ease, honestly. Kid you not. I'm not even kidding. Not to get all soft on everybody, but I'll tell you what, I could just relax for that, right? Like
definitely. I want to hear the whole story. I want to hear Brian. I want Brian to read me the whole story. Him or that Emma one would be also pretty good, but we toyed around with Brian before, and it comes out great. It's
weren't we just talking about accents? Did you say before?
we were talking about New England accents, right? A dooryard. Northeast snacks.
Let's add. So, that's another thing here, and we're going to go into this in a few minutes here. But there's voice design, there's instant voice cloning, there's voice library. I'm just adding. I want to add to our voice lab another voice here, which was that Emma voice, because I think that was a nice one too. Yep. So we'll just look for female, and we'll look for British. There she is. So we're going to add that to our voice lab, folks, as Emma, because I want to try it in that. I think that's one that we hadn't played around with yet. So we'll give that a try. There she is. And then the other note here is that I'm using the 11. There's a few different models here. And I just mentioned earlier in the news segment that ElevenLabs has come out with a new multilingual model. So they had a V1. They just released this version 2, supports many more languages, as you can see. Like the initial supported a few, right, a handful, and now we're supporting up to 28 languages here. The 11 English is the English model. So how this works is, if I'm using the English model, it's always just going to give me English, right? But if I use one of the multilingual models and I need to paste the text in the language that I want it to speak it in. So that's important. I can't just toggle this and say, take this English text, translate it, and use it or text, convert it to speech, right? I have to already have converted or translated the text. But then when I generate it, if it's in German, it'll generate in German. If it's, in Ukrainian, I saw was in there, it'll generate it in Ukrainian. So we're going to test that out in a little bit here. For now, we're going to use the English model because one note about the English model is that it's faster than either of the multilingual models. And so we'll go ahead and give Emma a try here.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers about the wonders of Kindnessville, stories that made her heart skip with excitement. And so, one bright morning, with the sun painting the sky in shades of gold, Lily set out on a journey to discover the secret behind the kingdom's extraordinary kindness. Little did Lily know.
That's pretty good.
It is. One thing to note there too, though, is whatever version you're using there is not the edited version, because it referred to as Kindnessville instead of the Kindness Kingdom. That change was made. It was made in our last prompt that we did on the G drive. So just one thing to note, just for the show purpose.
All right. So one thing that I think would be valuable now to show folks, Rico, is you got really excited after we generated this, and all of a sudden this guy sends me a link to a YouTube video of an up and coming movie that I thought was really interesting, and we're gonna share. We're gonna actually, it's not that long. We're actually gonna listen to the whole thing, but this is really this is getting folks, giving folks kind of some ideas around what you could do with this right after you have this audio, right? So, if you're a creative guy like Rico, then you can do some interesting things. So I'm going to go ahead and add my screen share here again with a different tab.
The world premiere introduction.
This is the world premiere of Lily and the Kindness Kingdom teaser, folks.
Yes.
All right. Yes.
That's so exciting.
All right, here we go.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers about the wonders of Kindness Kingdom, stories that made her heart skip with excitement. And so, one bright morning, with the sun painting the sky in shades of gold, Lily set out on a journey to discover the secret behind the kingdom's extraordinary kindness. Little did Lily know, this journey would take her on an adventure that would touch not just her own heart, but the hearts of all who crossed her path. As she embarked on this path of empathy and compassion, she would learn that kindness held a power beyond magic, and that understanding others' feelings was the true key to unlocking a world where smiles were brighter, laughter was sweeter, and friendships were forever. Join Lily as she ventures through forests and over rivers, as she helps creatures in need and learns the joy of being a friend to all. Get ready to step into a world where every act of kindness creates ripples of happiness, and where the magic of empathy weaves connections that bridge even the widest gaps. Welcome to the wondrous tale of Lily and the Kindness Kingdom, where the adventure of a young heart will inspire us all to make our world a better place, one act of kindness at a time.
I love that, man. Like the sound effects and the transition and everything. It's darn good work, man. Darn good work.
Thank you.
I'm
very excited about it.
It's really cool.
Two of my favorite parts. It's kind of a silly thing with that, but one is the water splash with the ripple as the cymbal hits, and the second is that transition of the name of the Kindness Kingdom to
and you hear the
Artificial Antics,
the symbol again or whatever,
as it goes.
So good.
Really fun to make.
Yeah.
But again, showing the application of exactly these tools that we're talking about.
Sure. And one quick note here, folks, and I'm sure that it's noticeable to me at least, right? And I'm guessing it would be noticeable to other people, is that this is sort of like a rough draft, right? Like essentially the music, by the way, freaking beautiful. Like I forgot you had added the music too, so it's not even just him reading. It's like the whole thing, right?
Experience.
But Lily in there, right, is a few different women, right, or girls,
Right.
like
Yep.
like and so I think that once we get a little further down the line with this, right, and we're gonna do an episode on some of the image creation, right, and creating consistent characters. These are challenges, right? So we're gonna work through some of that, and we're gonna do an episode just on that, right? So putting it all together sometimes is definitely a chore. In the same breath, not a chore, it's a challenge, right? Because putting it together is a lot of fun. But I think the music, the transition, and the like voice, final product, you know what I mean? It's just getting, and even a lot of the images or little videos were absolutely beautiful. The deer get me every time. They get me every time. The road with the snow on it gets me every time. Like there's just, I mean, it really takes me to another world, right? And so we're excited to share these tools with you folks. And maybe you're a creative person, but it's hard to get your thoughts out, and these tools help you with that.
Absolutely. And that's one of the most exciting things for me, because, we took a concept that we liked. You and I got very excited about it when we created it. It was actually, I think, a side quest for us, right? We were initially on one quest, and here pops up this side quest where all of a sudden we're like, hey, let's write this children's book. And then we built this thing out, and it's letting our dreams, our ideas come to life much more quickly and efficiently than we could have ever previously done. So that's very, very exciting. So thanks for showing that, Mike. I really enjoyed making that, and I hope everybody enjoys it as much as we do creating it, or have
for sure.
it.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for the evolution of that, right? So
yes, absolutely.
That's not even released. Like we're not like that first. That is literally a first draft, but it was so exciting to us that we wanted to share it with you, especially on the episode where we're already using Brian's voice to narrate that, right? So we're already kind of showing you how to create some of those initial assets, right? I'm going to go ahead and share my ElevenLabs tab again.
Sure.
And we'll kind of start back where we just stopped off, right? So we've got Emma there. She's narrating, and let's see here. All right. So we're looking at ElevenLabs here. We've got our we've got our script here, and we're kind of going through these voices. So we just played Emma. We're going to now tweak some of these settings. Actually, let's go over to Brian and tweak some of his settings. We'll start off.
Yes.
So these are your different different sliders to tweak the sound. So stability, and we can look at what these are, right? So increasing variability can make speech more expressive with output varying between regeneration. So this is going to give us, this is one note. With generative AI, a lot of times it will be what's called non-deterministic, which means for the same input, you could get a slightly different output, or even sometimes a drastically different output. But most of the time, it's just going to be a slightly different output. So what it's saying here is, with the stability, if I crank it to 100, this is going to give me the same thing close to all the time. If I take it all the way down to here, it shows me, it's warning me, it's saying it's unstable, right? But if I put it at 30%, right, this might be a little more creative between generations. And one of the tips from ElevenLabs themselves is to generate a few copies of a voice and then see which one you like the most, right? So, and something really great that we noticed too is that there's a history here. So we could look at all of our generations. So let's say we do generate 5 with Brian. We can go ahead and play those back to back so that we can figure out which one we like the most, right? So we'll start with just tweaking like the stability a little bit. We'll take it down to 30 here. I don't want to put it into the unstable ground because we tested that. It just wasn't super good. And then with the clarity and similarity enhancement, so right now, it shows you low values are recommended if the background artifacts are present in the generated speech. So this is kind of if you were recording a voice and you had background noise and whatnot, this, this would be useful because you could set it to a lower value. Here we don't really have that. I'm going to leave it exactly how it is because I think Brian sounds pretty darn good here. So
Sure.
we'll leave it at that. We'll do one with the stability here, and then we'll try one up here, and then heck, just for the heck of it, we're in the lab, right? We're gonna go completely unstable here. And so we'll start out here though with the right at the edge, right? And I think let's do the default again. So the default is 50. We're taking it to 30, and we're gonna go ahead and generate this guy.
Crank it up to 11.
To 11.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily.
Yeah, so you can
Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun.
Sparkled.
Now, is there a way to stop the generation? You see a button? No, there isn't.
No, I didn't.
That's okay. That's okay. So let's now let's try it exactly the same, because remember, non-deterministic. We're gonna get something slightly different.
Different output.
We'll listen to them back to back, right? We'll do like 3.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers
louder
about the wonders of...
It's more in your face, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, well, we can actually go into the history, I think, and listen to the 2 back to back. Yeah.
Because this goes back to the optical test, right?
Right.
1 or 2?
1 or 2?
2.
2 or 3?
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers of... In the heart of this enchanting kingdom, in the heart of this enchanting king, in the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirit...
definitely tell a slight difference between the two. Is it the cadence?
I think it is the cadence. Yeah, I think it's just slightly different.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom, in the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily.
A bit of a tone difference too, honestly.
Right.
Just slightly. It's like so small.
Which is, these features are great too, because if people are applying them to a text-to-speech, say they're doing a book on tape or that type of thing, even though you're using the same technology that other people are using with ElevenLabs, you can dial it in and make the voice slightly different, the cadence slightly different. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well, and some of the stuff that I was having ElevenLabs read while I was kind of just doing this on my own, it was like too slow or too fast, and I was lining it up with like video and different stuff like that. I was actually doing the intro to Artificial Antics with it just to play around and see what it was.
Right.
And sometimes it nailed it, and other times it was like, oh, there needs to be a tweak there. Like that word is very elongated, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to generate it now with the stability at 50. So we'll do 2 generations with the stability at 50 here.
It does generate relatively.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers about the...
Yeah, oh yeah, it's absolutely, I mean, it's fantastic. I'm really excited to do more with this and build up, let's say, more of a work of art, right? And and so this is just really fun. So we're starting another generation exactly with the same settings.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers about the wonders of kindness.
It's never as good as watching your video, Rico. I'm just going to say that. Like the music and the visuals and everything.
Right. Yep. Nah, I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm very excited about the project.
All right. So we have these last 2. So this is with the stability at 50.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named
now we're going to
Lily.
go 30.
Lily's eyes. In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named. In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited. In the heart of this enchanting
Wow.
kingdom lived a
There is not
spirited
much
child
difference.
named Lily.
Right. It's pretty
Lily's
close.
eye. In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with.
That's super interesting that there is
Well,
not much difference at all with that.
Because as far as non-deterministic with other generative art that we've experimented with, especially with graphic art, generating graphic art, whether it's Midjourney or Bing AI, with the non-deterministic aspect of it, you definitely get a different look. It's very different. But this one, it seems like the settings themselves truly have a playing on what the output is, so you're sliding it, right, but it's not making a huge difference.
Yeah.
In the output.
So, and speaking of huge differences, I just took it from 50 to 100. Mm-hmm. Let's see what that does, right? So we'll do a couple like this.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big.
So this one, and again, we could listen to them in a second here, and they could be exactly the same as the other ones. That sounded a little bit faster to me, and we'll take a look and see what we get, right? Yeah.
Curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers about the wonders of Kindness Kingdom.
All right, so let's go back into the history, and we'll just listen to the last two.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child
now we're gonna
named
do
Lily.
The 50.
Lily's eye. In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity,
but listen,
and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers.
Stop this. Look at the length.
I can't see those on my screen. It's not large enough. Let's see if I can full screen it.
Can you see it now?
I full screened it and made it a little bit better. Yeah. So it's within a couple of seconds. So cadence ultimately does play a factor.
But this is like 3 seconds or 4 seconds from this. That's considerable, So the point being here, it looks like with the stability turned up higher, you're going to get more of an elongated, it's going to be a longer clip, so it's more drawn out.
Right.
And so I find that kind of interesting. So any thoughts on, the speech synthesis, the settings, anything else? We could do the clarity or similarity enhancement. I think that we played around this a little bit. We can.
Yeah, we did that another time. Was that the one that made it very breathy?
Let's try it out, right? It really depends on if Brian was breathy when he recorded, right? So we'll put it to high. So this should be the highest similarity with the original.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily.
This guy.
Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart.
That guy's just got a good voice.
He's dialed in. He's
dialed in, dude.
Yeah, it was a female voice we had tried, and it was relatively unstable, if I remember right. And it ended up coming out breathy and sounded terrible on the other side.
Right.
We toyed with it. So
we'll take it to the lowest and just do another quick one.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun.
So now what we can do here, let's go over to history. Yeah, like this was the very last one.
2 seconds more.
Well, yeah, it's 2 seconds more. But then the one with low, there we go. It just finished generating. So in theory, we should have another one. Yeah, these are the same. So low and high with the I forgot what that was called. That was the similarity enhancement or clarity and similarity. That didn't seem to make a massive difference. I think the default's 75. So the default for stability is 50. Default for the clarity similarity enhancement is 75. And all right, cool. So we got that. Going into the voice lab, you can design your own voice. You can do it instant voice cloning. So this says clone a voice from a clean sample recording. Sample should contain one speaker and be over a minute long. With no background noise, right? You can upload your file there, play around with it, do a description. I did this, and for some reason, mine didn't come through. So we'll probably do a separate segment on this one.
Sure.
I just wanted to let folks know that it's available, right, in that voice lab, and then we made Herbie Hancock here, so we can kind of play around with Herbie. And with Herbie, I think we did like an Australian voice we wanted to do.
Yes.
A couple of tweaks to that. And let's just give him a try. I honestly forgot what he sounds like at this point. So let's hop into English. All right, go ahead.
I know with our previous attempt with the Australian thing, it was kind of a swing and a miss. We had play that a bit more the last time, so maybe it'll work better for us this time.
Cool. Let's listen to what we generated.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers about the wonders of Kindness Kingdom.
He doesn't make me as happy as Brian. Herbie is he's like, okay, but Herbie Hancock. I'm gonna try it with the little bit lower stability and see.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily.
Sure. That's quite different.
Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun.
Hollow.
Right, more hollow. Yeah, that I think that really captures the difference there. Yeah, tinny, hollow. That makes sense. And then let's turn this up and just see if we get, like you said, I remember with that female voice, it was super breathy. Let's see if we get that with this one.
Right.
In the heart of this enchanting kingdom lived a spirited child named Lily.
Cadence.
Yeah, it's completely different.
And again, doesn't have that rich sound. Like Brian has a very rich, deep sound to it.
Yeah, Brian has taken a lot of voice lessons. I mean,
yes.
He is amazing.
He had to have
Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was as big as the sun. She had heard whispers about the wonders of Kindness Kingdom.
So Rico,
sorry,
why
Herbie.
don't we? Yes, sorry, Herbie. Sorry, Herbie. So Rico, why don't we do this as kind of to close out the episode here? Let's try the multilingual, the new multilingual V2 model. You were gonna get me some text in a couple different languages. Let's try German, I think, because that's always a fun one. Sure. Cool. So so now we're gonna try out the multilingual, and we'll start out with, we got it. Brian's my baseline, man. Brian is my rock.
Brian is our boy.
Brian's my boy. I'm gonna set these to the default. It looks like they already were, and we're gonna go ahead and set this to 11 multilingual V2. Again, Rico has gotten me some text here in German, or Deutsch, as we would pronounce it.
Painstakingly translated it.
I appreciate you doing every word, one word at a time, Rico. Appreciate that. And we're going to go ahead and go for it, folks. So Brian's voice in Deutsch.
Im Herzen dieses bezaubernden Königreichs lebte ein temperamentvolles Kind namens Lily. Lillys Augen funkelten vor Neugier und ihr Herz war so groß wie die Sonne. Sie hatte
So Rico, you knowing German, how's that sound?
It sounds fantastic. I don't know why, but it still brings me a slight comfort to hear that. You know, we used to watch a lot of TV. It was very immersive when you lived there, but yeah, no, it sounds fantastic, especially Brian's voice doing it.
I know what this word means.
Son. He's a Rammstein fan.
Oh, dude, I love that song. That's one of my favorite Rammstein songs.
Gerüchte über die Wunder des Kindness Kingdom gehört.
We're gonna say.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say Konig. That's meaning king. There used to be a rapper, a German rapper there. I forget his name, but he called himself König de Deutschland, which is like
awesome.
king of Germany.
I love it.
Yeah.
Geschichten, die ihr Herz vor Aufregung höher schlagen.
That's very cool. So we're gonna do French next. So let me grab this clip over here.
Français.
Francois.
Les yeux de Lily pétillaient de curiosité, et son cœur était aussi grand que le sang.
Wow, this is crazy.
So good.
This is crazy. Like, Brian sounds like a French person talking. Like, that's nuts.
Yep.
I mean, like, it's like...
I know somebody from France.
What world am I in?
Yeah, I know somebody from France. It'd be interesting to get her take on it too, to have her listen to it.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I'll download those and send them over and let's and then actually I've got a friend who speaks Portuguese and I'll pass this one. So we're gonna do Portuguese next. Let's we'll give this a try. And it looks like it's still generating the French, right? So as I said earlier in the episode, the multilingual V2 is going to be slower than the English, right? So that just finished up. We're going to go ahead and generate Portuguese here.
Nice.
No coração deste reino encantador vivia uma criança espirituosa chamada Lily. Os olhos de Lily brilharam de curiosidade, e seu coração era tão grande quanto o sol.
That's amazing.
It truly is. What excites me about it is, we have a story to tell, right? And this gives us the ability to tell and reach, to tell people from all over, but to reach far more people. That's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Any closing thoughts here, Rico, as we wind down?
No, I just want to say, thank you to ElevenLabs out there for doing what you're doing. We've used HeyGen previously, and we've compared some of their AI where Mike was speaking German and his lips were moving to German. Very exciting stuff there. But ElevenLabs, you're doing a fantastic job. I'm really excited to build this out a little bit more on some of our projects and see how other users are using it. And like we saw with Brian, we know, what was it, 9.4 million, I think, had either liked, favorited, or reviewed his voice. Is that?
Oh,
is that,
yeah,
that
9.4 million, I think, had used his voice. That's a lot.
That's a lot of folks using it. So keep up the great work out there, ElevenLabs, and I'm excited to see what they come out with next.
Yeah, Brian, give us a call. We got some voice work for you to do.
That's right. Yeah, and I think in our previous episode before, when we previously recorded this, Kira Knightley, if you can get on with ElevenLabs and we can get your voice in there too to compete with Emma, that'd be great. So
definitely, Emma needs some competition. Yeah, folks. So thanks for watching, and if you have anything you'd like to see in the future, right? These tools, like we're doing ElevenLabs. I know we're going to do Deep Cram pretty soon here. If there's anything you'd like us to look at and do an episode on, we'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us, and we're looking forward to bringing you more content soon, folks.
All right, folks. So see you in the lab again soon with Mike and I, and we are Artificial Antics. Thank you.